We'll go ahead and get started in about 5 minutes, everybody.
Dad looked at me, third eye. Didn't know me for that. I said, Roman Catholic?
Okay, everyone, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you. This isn't working, so. There, is that better? Okay, everybody, I know some of you are still eating. Stop. No, you're on the stop. Please keep eating. Enjoy your dessert, and first of all, let's just offer a word of thanks before we're done for all of those who are serving us this evening and helping us with this wonderful meal. So thank you. Thank you. So as I said when we started, there are a lot of, let's just say, Hall of Fame alumni here this evening. And it's so good to have all of you here. I had a wonderful conversation earlier with Steve Accinelli, who's came back to visit us from Nevada. And so, Steve, we welcome you, and we're happy you're here. I see Roger Eberts is one of the first recipients. He's here. We're glad you're here, Roger, and I'm going to hear about it by putting you on the spot, so I apologize for that. But everyone else, we're really happy that you're all here. It's been a wonderful evening. And again, Dick, thank you for hosting us. So let's go ahead, and I would like to introduce to you both of our recipients this evening. And I'll start with the recipient of the John Knox Coit Prize. This year, the recipient of the John Knox Coit Prize is Dr. Kevin Catani. Kevin, over here. Dr. Catani received his bachelor's, master's, and Doctor of Philosophy degrees from Florida State University. No, I'm just teasing. No. It's actually the University of Florida, but I knew that one. I knew I'd get a rise out of him, and it worked. He currently serves as professor of sport marketing and management and directs the sports management track in the Master of Management program. Since his arrival to the University of Dubuque in 2012, Dr. Catani has distinguished himself as an all-in member of the university's faculty. He's an active recruiter of new students and advisor of, how many students are you advising this year? Over 100 students, which is pretty impressive, and a mentor to many others that have entered the workforce. Kevin has also undergone training in the university's emotional intelligence curriculum and engages students in topics, really important topics actually, such as conflict management. The one that really caught my attention was love languages, so do say more. And empathy and various styles of communication. And if you know Kevin, you know that he really goes out of his way to meet people where they are, and is just a terrific, terrific role model and mentor, not just for our students, but for all of us. Kevin and his wife Tegan, and Tegan is here, and their children, are actively engaged in our community and are the proud parents of daughters Olivia and Ren, with, am I allowed to say? Yeah. With another member of the family scheduled to arrive in August of this year. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to invite all of you to join me in congratulating Dr. Kevin Catani as the 2023 John Knox Coit Award recipient. Kevin?
All right, how's everyone? Good? Good. When I got the email about this award, firstly, I was blown away. I think I'm still partly speechless. But the directive told me to prepare a 30 to 50 minute speech for you all. Oh, what? Oh, 3 to 5 minutes? Oh, well, okay, got to ditch some of this here. Okay. I wanted to start by certainly thanking Dr. Bullock and the Svrluga family for continuing this awesome event. I still very much am in awe. I still see myself as a junior faculty. Imposter syndrome is real, I think, in a lot of cases, but the names on that wall, if you've ever been in Heritage Center, are the giants that have come before me, and I've worked hard to model what I do and how I do it on those folks. And I've been fortunate to work with some directly in the department, and I've been fortunate to work with others externally. I also think it's serendipitous, I think, because the human performance lab that our department runs is the John Knox Coit Lab. So I thought it was pretty cool that I won the award that bears the name of the person who was also the name of our lab. So that was pretty cool. Certainly some quick acknowledgments. I wanted to welcome and thank my mom and dad for being here. They actually arrived in Cedar Rapids at 4:30 this afternoon and beelined it down 151 to get here, so I'm very happy for that. Certainly Dr. Bullock acknowledged my wife and my girls and soon-to-be child of unknown gender. So we'll see. And also, my brother, who unfortunately is still in Denver, he'll be here this weekend, but I know he wanted to be here, but I certainly want to make sure that he knows that he's a part of this puzzle as well, and I love him and can't wait to see him. And then just a couple of quick other ones. I was so happy that she's here, because I wanted to reach out to see if she was coming, but I thought if I did, that would give away why I was asking. But I wanted to acknowledge Dr. Gail Hayes. My job here at UD was my first job out of the University of Florida. And I think in a lot of ways, Dr. Hayes and the search committee took a chance on me, coming from a different part of the country, coming from a school of 60,000 people to a school of 1,600 people. And in a lot of ways, it was new for them as it was for me. So I wanted to thank you for taking a chance. And I'd say it worked out pretty well. And then, of course, and I don't mean to get any cheap heat here, but I do want to thank the best department on campus here, the Department of Health, Wellness, and Sport. Josh and Jim are two of the best guys in the world to work with. And so most of what I'm able to do is because of their support as well. So I just have 2 points that I wanted to make sure I got out, and both come from significant events in my time here. So from the advising perspective, those of you that come from research-intensive schools know that advising is typically handled at an advising center with people that do or don't know your program, but they just sort of give a class list out and off you go. Where here, it is a very hands-on. We guide these students from the minute they walk on campus. We help them with majors and minors. We help them change majors. We help them through most of that process. And I remember being very overwhelmed because at the University of Florida, I was handed a sheet on my first day and said, we'll see you in 4 years. And maybe you make it and maybe you don't. And for those of you that remember Dr. Paul Johnson, at the time he was our Dean of Advising. And his office was on our floor in Smith Hall. And I was down there one day just sort of commiserating that advising is a lot. And I will never, ever, ever forget. He looked at me and he goes, Kevin, every student is a puzzle. And it's our job to find that missing piece. And from that moment forward, I threw away all of the issues and embraced every student as a special case that has a special need, and how can I help to make that and get them where they want to be. So I really owe a lot of that to Dr. Johnson as well. For those of you that know him, he was very instrumental for that for me. And then from the teaching perspective, I think that this is a message I give my students, and I'm surrounded by it now. But I really do believe that any individual is only as strong as their village. And I think that we're blessed here to have an amazing village of faculty and staff that are able to do our jobs so freely with our students that a lot of the issues that my colleagues at other schools have, we don't have. And I realize that daily. And so my call to action, if I can end with it, is in the spirit of tonight and in the spirit of honors convocation, go collaborate with someone else on campus. I think so many of us have so many gifts to give in our discipline and outside of our discipline, and half of who I am is because of the relationships I've formed with the natural science department, the business department, the digital art and design department, the theater department, and my impact is so much greater because of that. And so for those of you in this room that haven't had a chance to reach out and connect with other departments in a work-centered way, do it, because it has truly made my experience so much better. So in all of that, I'll leave the rest of my note cards for another time. But thank you so much. I'm so very honored to be here.
Kevin, thank you. Thank you. Good job. All right. The next award we have the privilege of giving is the William L. Lomax Award. And this year's recipient is Professor Richard Smith. Richard? You're welcome to be up here, but I haven't finished roasting you yet.
Oh.
So,
I got something for you, too.
oh, you got something for me, too. Okay. Okay. That was quick. I didn't know physicists were that quick, but I better. So Professor Smith received his BS degree in physics and mathematics from the University of Dubuque, and in fact is one of 4 children, I think, that are graduates of the University of Dubuque. So thank you for that. We're happy about that. And he received his MS degree in experimental physics from Minnesota State University, Mankato. All right. With a research emphasis in, and I'm going to try to pronounce this, but it's L-shell X-ray production cross-sections of dysprosium 420-420 Ke capital V proton bombardment. I think there are maybe 3 people in the room who have an idea what that means. Along with other colleagues, Professor Smith occupies a unique position within the University of Dubuque faculty. He began his tenure with the University of Dubuque as a media director and a math tutor in our Academic Success Center. Eventually, he was recruited by the Science and Mathematics Department to teach physics and math courses, and finally, in 2000, accepted a full-time position to teach physics and math at UD at a time when most, if not all, of our students were taking physics and mathematics courses elsewhere in the city. Since that time, mathematics and physics have both returned to our campus thanks to wonderful leadership and grown in popularity amongst our students. But the important point to make here is that Professor Smith has served the needs of the university and its students, wherever and whenever those opportunities have presented themselves. Professor Smith was born and raised in Dubuque, and along with his wife Maureen has 3 children, Brian, Michael, and Vanessa, and 1 granddaughter, Kayla. So I invite you to join with me in congratulating Professor Richard Smith as the recipient of the 2023 William Lomax Award. Now it's time to come up.
Well, I'm sorry to say that I won't keep it as short as Kevin's. But I am very honored to accept this award for enjoying the past recipients who I've had the pleasure to serve with for the last 27 years. One of the professors that received this award in 2000 was Dr. Rodney Smith, who I took English composition from in the 80s. So when the president requested a meeting with me, many things came to mind. Being the winner of this award was not on the top of the list. My first reactions were, was I in trouble? Would it involve more work? Did he need some information on land stewardship? My thoughts raced and produced several possibilities. When he shared that I was this year's recipient, I was very surprised. After the call, I wondered if this might have been evidence to support string theory. I thought maybe I might have been diagonally parked in a parallel universe. Okay, so got the joke out of the way.
Physics joke.
Yes, another one coming. More of a metaphor, though. But, my thanks go out to all the students and staff, faculty, President Bullock, and the trustees that make UD a unique college community. I thank the many professors that helped guide me through the undergraduate and graduate schools to satisfy my thirst for knowledge. I especially want to thank Richard and late Donna Svrluga for their continued support for this award and recognition. I thank my wife for all the years of support. Without her understanding and love, I would not be the person I am today. I thank my extended family and for all those years of encouragement that helped me achieve my goal in life. Many professors in this room are deserving of this award, and my hope is that many of you will be recognized in the future. UD would not be what it is today without your individual talents and team efforts across this campus. I thank you all for your work to help young people to reach their goals in life. Last page. So UD has been part of my identity for many years. If I include the time as a student, I spent over half of my life on campus. I never expressed interest going to college when I was in senior high school. I graduated early and served 3 years in the Army. And when I was released in 1980, I was facing 25% unemployment in Dubuque, Iowa. And so then at the age of, after I did some seasonal work and some part jobs for a couple years, I decided at the age of 23 that I would need an education and a career. So my mother was very surprised when I told her that I enrolled at UD. She wondered out loud, who was I and what did I do with her son? So I discovered as a UD student that I enjoyed learning and the challenges that came with the process. I was an undeclared major when I arrived until I took physics from Dr. Hoekstra. Then I took every math, physics, and engineering course I could find in town. I was hooked. So in 1987, I received my undergraduate physics at UD here and was accepted in Minnesota State in the experimental physics program. And while at Mankato, I was assigned as a teaching assistant for engineering students taking physics labs. Boy, that first month was tough. Those engineering students, they're a tough audience. But I learned on the go, and I discovered the satisfactions and hardships of teaching. The joys outweighed the hardships, and it was at Mankato that I decided to make teaching my career. Over the years, I've had some of the best experiences working in and out of class with students. I find joy in the knowledge, conveying knowledge that I now possess to the next generation. One of my goals for all students Will they be able to see the world through the views of a physics lens? So I'm reminded of a physics metaphor of the effect I may have had. It goes something like this. In a still pool of water, a small stone is dropped, causing a ripple to travel across the surface of the water as a function of time. The surface of the water is analogous to the space-time continuum from Einstein's work. And I'm the small stone that caused the disturbance. One never knows how that ripple will affect the student across space and time. My hope is similar to all teachers, to have a positive impact on the students that I've had the privilege to instruct over these many years of service. I thank you all for this award.
Very well done. Rich, thank you. That was both of you. Rich and Kevin, thank you for what you do here, both of you and all of you who are committed to the vocation to which you've been called. We had our first part of our trustees meeting today, and one of the things we talked about, a lot of what's going on in higher education, there are a lot of challenges, and one of those challenges, which is I think a key challenge, is there are so many campuses where faculty members are upset, they're disenfranchised, they're disengaged, and have checked out, and there wasn't a person in our room who could fathom that on this campus. And so we're all aware that each one of you who are in the classroom and those who contribute outside the classroom do far more than your job descriptions, and far more. I mean, we're all in some ways irrationally committed to this mission, and we're grateful to be able to do it. As Peter Smith used to say, he said, the University of Dubuque is the only addiction I'm willing to talk about. And I think we all feel that way. So as we wrap up tonight, I'd like to invite Mr. Svrluga up to offer some thoughts, and then after that, I would like to invite our board chair to offer some thoughts, and then I'll conclude with the benediction.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I think this might be the 25th, 26th year or so of this program. So you're stepping into some good shoes, and what an absolutely wonderful evening. I get emotional, so I do this every year. So don't. John Knox Coit and William Lomax were giants, just giants. And they were masters of their trade. They were so wonderful. And some of us, including Joe, who's going to get up next, myself, and others had the honor to be their students. And they made a difference in the lives of so many UD students. It's an honor to be here with you tonight to recognize the 2023 recipients of the John Knox Coit Prize and the William Lomax Award. We're also gathered, as Jeff said, to acknowledge and celebrate the work that all UD faculty do day in and day out, teaching, advising, and supporting students, making a difference in the lives of students, making a difference in our communities and the world. And thank you so much for the work that you do every day, and it's an honor to celebrate with you here tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dick. how many of the faculty here tonight were at the gathering we had to announce Jeff's announcement of his transition to the next point of his life? Any of you there? Yeah, well, I owe you an explanation. If you remember that day, maybe to go back for a second, I said I want to be able to get up there and be positive and talk about things that are important. And beforehand, though, I went down to visit with Coach Zwiefel, the head football coach. And Stan and I had planned a trip to go down to Orlando to see the Washington Defenders play football. Now, the Defenders are a part of the XFL, and we have a graduate, Michael Joseph, who graduated in 2017, and he's playing on that team. So Stan, and God bless him, he got me a Defender's cap. And there was just this red cap, that I thought, well, I'm going to explain who Michael Joseph is and the importance of this. But I said, this is an important day, so I want to dress up appropriately. So I had a nice dark navy blue suit on, and I had this long yellow tie, and then I put this deep red cap on, and I went on the stage at the Heritage Center, and I could see a lot of faculty members looking at me, oh my God. Jeff is retiring, and what the heck is going on? It looked like a MAGA hat, It did. Oh, it did. And so I said, wait a minute, I owe these folks an explanation at some point in terms of what I was trying to accomplish. But so anyway, that's the story, folks. And turn on ESPN on Sunday. It's Sunday at I think noon. You can watch Michael Joseph play. Anyway, Dick, what a wonderful evening that you have provided us over these years. It's just amazing to be here tonight and to recognize the faculty we have and all the efforts that are being put forth and the culture we have and all the wonderful people who have received awards over the year. The Board of Trustees met today. Dr. Bullock mentioned this. And the reason we met is we have a two-day meeting. Today's meeting was an educational session, and tomorrow's a full board meeting. But the session today was to develop a plan as we move forward with Jeff's transition to the next stage of his life. That's what this is about. And the most important thing I can tell you is this. The University of Dubuque is in great shape. We understand the culture of who we are, what we are going to accomplish going forward, and build upon this tremendous foundation and strength that Jeff has provided us over the past, you can believe this, 25 years. I remember meeting Jeff in 1996. I was a young guy on the board, and Jeff sat next to me as the new dean of the university. And you had to be around. John, you remember these days. John Butler would remember these days. Dick Svrluga would remember these days of the difficulty we had and the challenges that we faced and the decisions that had to be made. And there was one session, and I've told this to my wife over the years, there was one session, John, where things got so tough that I remember, and I don't know who it was, an old board member said, I don't know, I think it's time to turn out the lights and hand the keys to this place to somebody else. That's how tough it got. In 1998, Bruce Merriweather, through divine providence, whatever, asked Jeff to become the president of the University of Dubuque. He and Dana probably were young and naive.
Well, one of us was young.
And accept the position. And to some degree, the rest is history. So here we are today with a wonderful institution, a school that has been designated a school of distinction. Not a U.S. News and World Report, top 10, regional, whatever, but a school that accomplished so much, serving a broad array of students coming from a whole range of capabilities. I remain optimistic in terms of where we are headed. Jeff is going to be a part of this process as we move forward. But what strikes me is the culture that we've had at the University of Dubuque since I've been here, and I came here in the fall of 1964. And for those of you, who's going to have offices in Severance, Jeff? Everybody here? Or? Oh, you're going to really enjoy it. No one else? Oh, you've got to go through there and see the beautiful offices and facility you're going to have in Severance Hall, which has been renovated with classrooms and meeting space and offices. But when I think going forward, what we hope to accomplish, I think of the culture that we represent. And I should be saying Dr. Bullock, but I know him so well that I just call him Jeff, that we've talked about who we are and what we represent. And we represent a culture that embraces timeless values. Timeless values. What do I mean by that? Honesty, self-discipline, hard work, compassion, respect for family and marriage, and faith, all combined together. That's who we are. That's what we represent. And Jeff has reinforced those values that we have embraced. If I get carried away here, John Couchman's here. Where's John? John's father was the president of the University of Dubuque when I was here. And his father was a leader in civil rights and compassion for all people. A key component of who we are and what we are. So I commit to you that we will remain this beacon of values going forward, and that the best days of this school remain ahead of us because of the groundwork and support and axioms that Jeff has put into place. So leave here tonight feeling good, feeling great. The school's in great shape, and the Board of Trustees totally supports you and all that we want to accomplish. God bless you all.
Okay? Well done. Thank you. Well done.
Oh, those. I didn't even use them.
Well, thank you. That was spot on. I used to teach speech. That'd get an A. So our time this evening is ended, and before we receive the benediction, I think we would be remiss if we didn't remember two members of our community who've passed away this year. In Bruce Merriweather, who was a very important member of this community and this Board of Trustees and alum, and the longest-serving faculty member in the history of the University of Dubuque, which would be Howard Wallace. So let's remember both of them. I invite you to stand as we receive the benediction. And now go out in peace, and may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and grant to you his peace, now and forevermore. And all God's people said, Amen. Thank you, everybody. Yep. Oh my goodness.